you must have passion for the job. You must like the thing that you do. If you don't like it, then you're just dragging your feet. You will not survive. Because it's so-called something like, it's a dry thing. It's a dry subject. When you talk about machinery vibration, the vibration signature that you collect from the machinery, probably you interpret. So just like when the doctor listening to the patient, right, to the heartbeat, then they can try to diagnose what's wrong with this patient. Same as this machinery specialist, machinery engineer. So you have to understand your machine just like you understand your own friends or your own children. So you must know their background. You must know how the machine was built, how the machine was operated. So almost every day without fail, you have to look at how the machine behaves and how these people operate the plant. So that's where you start coming in and advise them, telling them, hey, look, you are doing this not so good. You are doing this a little bit off the windows or operating windows. So that's where your role is very important. And then first, when you have passion of doing this, then you find that it is something like you are looking forward to it every day. When we start recruiting people, we start taking experienced hirer. And then a lot of them, as you know, it's all foreigners, majority foreigners. And these foreigners, their attitude was, as long as they can come to Singapore and find any job. They don't care whatever job, as a stepping stone. From there, they have their network. There they have that experience, that they work doing this kind of thing. And that's where they can sell themselves off. The same thing as when you are offered something that is not relevant to your qualification. Then you have to take it as a challenge. And this is only a stepping stone. You just take it first, right? And then learn your trade, learn the job, and prove to yourself, prove to the people, prove to yourself that you can do it. You are adaptable. Back then in technical school, they teach you how to do some fitting, manual work, how to hold hammer, how to hold spada. Yeah. So that's the basic. And so of course, being good with your hand really carry a lot of weight. Because ultimately, engineer must know how to work with their hand. And then knowledge of how things work. Right. That is very important. You can apply to anywhere. So normally, like when you see the handphone that we use, right? People just take it as a tool, right, for you to communicate all that. But do you know how the handphone works, like, the background? Right? So that kind of curiosity, is where it is very important for an engineer. So these are all the traits that an engineer need. That means very inquisitive. And then when you start opening up things, you break down things, no problem. So that's where your curiosity will add to your knowledge. So let's say if you're talking about switching career, you are from something else, you want to do engineering things, right? Then of course you have to prove yourself. To prove is, I mean, you have to do some engineering work yourself. So have faith and trust in Allah in anything that you do, because it's all predestined. And then even though it's predestined, right, but you can always change the destiny by asking Allah to change for you. So now, let's say you want to change career, right? Then you ask Allah to guide you to do this. Then of course, for us Muslims, right, you go and pray istikhara, ask for guidance, right? So that is the bottom line. So in this life, we were born in this world, right, is to worship Allah alone, right? So I guess at this age I can say this. But when I was younger, I don't have the benefit of or the wisdom to say this kind of thing. Right. So I guess maybe when I was young, somebody old tell me this also, I may not really take it wholeheartedly. Okay. But then after going through this life, with children in tow, with mortgage to pay, and everything is almost settled, then you realize that, if you want to live your life again, you have to put priority in a lot of places.